Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Topp from the Investing News Network, and I'm here at the Cambridge House Show 2014 with Mickey Fulp. Mickey is the publisher of mercenarygeologist.com. Mickey, thanks for joining me.
Always my pleasure, Andrew.
So let's start with the overall state of the junior resource market. We all know the S&P had a great year last year, while the TSX Venture had an awful year. But there has been a bit of an uptick in the Venture. It had an 11-day winning streak in January. So I wanted to ask you, what do you see happening with the Venture this year?
Well, let's go back and look what happened last year. It started out the year about 1,100. It went down below 900 in late June. That was the bottom for the year, right? Kind of in the beginning of the summer doldrums. Then it kind of flatlined for a period of time. Then we got hit by tax loss selling in December, which tested that year low. Didn't quite make it there. And for the most part, we've been on the uptick since mid-December. We had quite a rise. We're up to around 980 for the Venture Index from a low of around 880. So this 11-day winning streak has led to a little bit of buoyancy in the market. In hindsight, I think we could call the bottom was in. And so I look at things, we'll get a little better. I am very comfortable with the Venture kind of being range bound for a while because there's still a lot of juniors that need to get washed out. Until that happens, I don't think we're going to have an entirely healthy junior resource sector.
Okay. I'd like to move on and talk about uranium. I know you're a longtime uranium bull. You recently wrote about uranium supply and demand on your blog. So we often hear the amount of mined uranium isn't enough to keep up with the demand for nuclear reactors. Price is around $35 a pound. What, in your view, will it take for the spot price of uranium to rise this year?
Japanese restarts.
Okay.
Now, there are not going to be that many that are going to restart. There are likely not going to be ever 50 that are mothballed right now will ever restart. But the psychological lift of Japan starting to take uranium under terms of their longer-term contracts, I think it will be a catalyst which will tend to move the market. Personally, I do not look for the uranium market to rebound drastically this year. I'm looking of a longer-term 2015, 2016 for a robust uranium price.
Okay, and in terms of exploration, we've closely been following exploration in the Athabasca Basin.
Sure.
It's been a lot of activity going on there. You've got companies like Denison, Fission, and more recently Kivalliq moving into this area of a very high-grade uranium. So do you have a favorite company in the basin that you follow?
I do not at this stage. I have been a shareholder of Fission Energy in the past. They are the ones that have sparked this area play, if you will, in the southwest Athabasca Basin with the Patterson Lake South discovery. So these companies that have moved in, Denison, Kivalliq, there's been a bunch of new juniors spring up. I like that area. Right now I'm kind of treading water, trying to figure out a company that may have the goods, have enough indications that I would want to become a shareholder of. I haven't done that yet, but I got a couple of things on the watch list within that southwest Athabasca Basin. There's a couple of very interesting companies. Not willing at this stage to divulge my ideas because personally I haven't acquired positions in these companies, and I'd rather get my position before I come out and tell the world about it.
Yeah, sure. How about outside of the Athabasca Basin?
Well, I am very focused as watchers of this video and who have followed my work for some time will realize that I'm willing to take geopolitical risk in the uranium space. So for me, it's the Athabasca Basin and the western USA and South Texas. So I've just covered a uranium company, Energy Fuels. I'm a shareholder through the Strathmore takeout of by Energy Fuels. So I'm very bullish on Energy Fuels. We picked that stock in late December December for free email subscribers. That's just been released as of today to the general public. But since we picked that stock, it went from 561 to almost 675 US. So we've seen 20% bump. It is the most highly leveraged uranium producer in North America to the uranium price. So as uranium price increases, we certainly think that's going to happen. This company will prosper exorbitantly compared to other uranium companies.
Could be a good long-term play.
Yes, it is. It's a medium to long-term play for me, most definitely.
Okay. What about the bigger producers like Cameco? Obviously, explorers would generate higher returns, but is it still valuable to hold those producers in the portfolio?
I think so. If you're a long-term bull of uranium the way I am, now I'm not a shareholder of Cameco. I'm not a shareholder of Denison, but I am a shareholder of some significant uranium producers in the United States. So I feel personally more comfortable with uranium producers focused on the United States, being an American who understands the type of deposits, the economics uranium business in the U.S. So I really focused on those producers in the U.S.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. Any other minerals you're bullish about right now?
Copper. Okay. Very bullish on copper, mid, short, long-term copper. I think the copper price is likely to be range-bound this year, but look at it at $3.35 today. That's a good copper price. Everybody that belongs in the copper business can make money at that price. My favorite company in that space would be Curis Resource, soon to be ISR producer in Arizona. I'm also bullish on tungsten. I'm an early-on shareholder of a company called Blackheath Resources, who are tungsten developers in Portugal with past producing mines. The management's done it before with primary metals in northern Portugal. So copper, tungsten, and uranium are my favorite commodities at this juncture.
Okay, great. Yeah. I wanted to get your take on precious metal stocks right now. As you know, gold equities have just gotten crushed. Are you still holding gold stocks? And what would you advise gold investors to do right now?
Well, I still hold gold stocks. I am not particularly bullish on at least the near-term prospects for the gold price. I think we're going to test the lows of below 1,200 again. Probably the next time that not Bernanke now, but Yellen gets up and talks about quantitative tapering and taking us off the juice in the U.S. I think we will again see some of the shorts come in and try to hammer the price of gold. But that said, I still hold a lot of gold explorers, and some of those are dead in the water. I'll use those for tax losses. I used them at the end in December. I'll use them again come next November, December. But there are some significant players in the gold business, advanced explorers, who are really beaten down right now, and those things would look like buying opportunities.
Always a buying opportunity, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay. There hasn't been much M&A in the gold sector in the last year, but last week we saw a big hostile takeover bid, Goldcorp making a bid for Osisko. With a lot of gold companies cutting costs, shelving projects, is this now a good time to be a junior with a good gold
Absolutely,
deposit?
I think so. I think that juniors with good deposits, this is when the next group of mid-tier gold companies will be built. So we've seen Alamos take over a couple of significant gold properties in the last 2 or 3 months. We saw, I don't know if it was hostile, it was unsolicited bid by Goldcorp for Osisko. Their management really hasn't come out and said what they think about it right now, but it was only 15, if memory serves, 15% over the current market capitalization. So that doesn't quite meet the metric, so maybe you see a bidding war come about. But Goldcorp, I think, is well positioned as assets are getting written off, as margins improve. The gold company's got to do something, but this would be a particularly beneficial time for companies with the financial wherewithal to take over some distressed juniors.
Do you have any that might be in that takeout position?
Probably none that I would want to speculate. These takeover things kind of come out of left field all the time. Who would have expected Goldcorp to move on a Cisco last week? Not what I would have thought would have happened. So I don't have any information about takeovers or things starting to happen, but good companies will position themselves in times of dire straits, if you will, to take out some less fortunate companies. So I would expect that to continue this year.
Okay, so possibly some more M&A on the horizon.
I would expect, yeah.
Okay. I've been Andrew Topp, speaking with Mickey Fulp of mercenarygeologist.com. Mickey, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Andrew.